can now speak to Labour's Shadow Business Secretary, Jonathan Reynolds, joining me live from Parliament's Central Lobby. Jonathan, thank you. First of all, just simply your reaction to the statement today delivered by Chancellor Jeremy Hunt.
Well, I thought it was the finale of 13 years of Conservative failure. So here was an autumn statement for growth, and then you get the documents, and growth's downgraded next year, the year after that, the year after that. You have a really worrying projection on living standards. You obviously have the headlines about tax, but as you've just said in your feature, taxes very clearly will be higher at the next election than they were at the last one. And it wasn't a step change, to be honest, in the 13 years of what we've already seen, which is essentially low growth driving high taxes, but for public services that aren't delivering for people.
Does it make you feel nervous if you are to be the incoming party? We don't know that yet, but leading ahead in the polls, you could be picking up the baton that has been set out for you by this government, as you've put it.
Well, you know I'm going to say there's no complacency, because that is true. But look, I've been in opposition for 13 years, so yes, I want the chance to sit on the other side and be part of a team giving a statement like this. And look, the projections, the long-term growth projections, the debt projections in this autumn statement, they are very worrying. But I am a fundamentally optimistic person for the future of this country. I think many of the most exciting sectors of the world economy are things the UK has strengths in. I think there is a much better programme that could have been put forward. I mean, you saw little bits today from the Chancellor on things like planning reform or changes to National Grid, which are actually quite big supply side, as we would say, problems in the UK economy. But he didn't really go far enough. He didn't tackle the fact that it's almost impossible to build anything in the UK in a reasonable timescale. We have to be honest with people that we need more homes across the United Kingdom. So I think if you actually had the right political will, the right team behind it, things could honestly be a lot better than we saw today.
Well, having said that, a lot of hospitality sector companies and other types of businesses have welcomed some of the directives made in the statement today. You've got things like business rate relief for a little bit longer, capital investment relief as well. I mean, what do you think businesses have started to get more on side with Conservatives after this statement?
Well, look, I think after 13 years of the kind of instability we have had, to be honest, to a certain extent, businesses have broadly given up hope in the Conservative Party fairly generally. But look, on business rates, there was no way in these economic conditions you could have seen the existing reliefs completely taken away. I would say the problem on business rates is you've had a series of annual freezes or reductions, but you need a long-term policy in place. That is essentially what our commitment is too. And on full expensing, look, I like this. This is obviously essentially a permanent change to how we treat investment in certain plant and machinery in the UK. I like this. I think without that, the large rise in corporation tax we've already seen from the government would have made the UK just frankly uncompetitive. It isn't perfect, but on its own, it's not enough. You need, first of all, some real stability in ministers and in policy. You need a real industrial strategy that they are all committed to. You've got to see some real action on planning, on flexibilities to the apprenticeship levy. We've got to make Brexit work better. You know, there's a whole range of a menu of things, if you like, that add up to being more than the sum of their parts. And I don't see that from the Conservative Party. I broadly think this is more of the same of the last 13 years.